Got it from you? Got it. They get it. Oh, it's not important.
Yeah.
You, me, and then I called that lady, but they gave it. I called her, but she never responded. So I told her the same thing. She kept going through the, like, she just went go to the next. We can do an aqua, which is right down the road. It's not like Springfield.
Oh, I didn't think
Almost like. I believe that. I mean, like I said, I called her and left her a message and she never responded. If I was gonna tell her, saying, no, you did it before. I was gonna tell her the same thing. Yeah. You have no say, absolutely no say. Which is weird.
The internet, all about bat boys and bat girls. The Phillies. Nothing with bat boys. It's helpful if you know somebody. They're mostly, all adult age. Kids.
that was, look,
Well,
I'm looking maybe, it might be high school. Yeah.
no, they're older.
They don't look.
Well, some guy's really short. Yeah, he's graduating in December.
So that was one of those.
And the girls, yeah, they have to pay.
So just know she got.
Oh, yeah.
3 times. I don't know where it's gonna go. I did refer to.
They are required to attend lots of other activities.
So that's what the plan is. Use their format and accent. So it's in the community, so I can go over.
Well, they have to.
This was it. All that energy. Before they get to that age.
Yeah, they have tryouts and all here, of course. Jay Wright's daughter last year, so talk about having an inside track.
I walked.
Hey, well.
It's not popular.
Oh, yeah.
You've been in the sun?
Yeah, a little. I gotta watch out though. I'm gonna get the dome is gonna get burned up. Gotta watch out.
I mean, I would think that there was, it should be. I would think it would. They probably have one attached to this show. Good idea. I'm definitely enjoying this summer.
He's always been good about that, so if I agree with that.
Really?
But what happened?
No, I didn't hear that.
Well, what's going on now with the shelter?
Hello.
No, I didn't see her phone. Back there. So.
Mike, I'm gonna be ready.
No, it's on the internet. All these ball girls and ball boys, there's a whole bunch of information there.
Ladies, I reach out to them directly. They haven't done anything. Well, they're full to a young people.
No, I have it.
What's going on? I'm already enjoying the game. Going out. Have it. Assisting in this year. Not disappointed. So loud. I'm saying no. Did I say 5 minutes?
Good evening. Good evening. How are you? Good, you too?
Thanks, support.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Uh-huh. Looking at it?
Okay.
Well, I can only tell by your time. You know what? I know your chill outfits.
Right.
I know you're working on Okay, we're gonna call to order. Good evening. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Take off your hats.
I'm going to.
Stand up, please.
Borough Secretary, do you have your agenda in front of you right now? Okay, can you please do a roll call?
Council Vice President Bernice Clark Dickerson.
Forever.
Councilor Douglas Eager.
Here.
Councilor Beth Ann Johnson. President, Councilor Michelle Miller.
Here.
Council President Paul K. Miller.
Present.
Councilor Michelle Roberts.
Present.
Councilor Walter Stubbs.
Here.
Mayor Amanda Hammack.
Present. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to our presentations. Or actually, no, do we have public comments for agenda? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna beforehand. Mr. Lee. You got yours. Let's switch off.
Good evening, Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, United States of America. Madam President, I've noticed lately you're not using the gavel to bring the meeting into order and to gavel us out of session. Is using the gavel, is that the prerogative of the chair, or is that a violation of the borough ordinance?
There's no requirement for.
Okay, I was curious about that, but I've noticed here tonight even though we can sign up for open discussion, it's been omitted from here. I call your attention to the last page, upcoming meetings / events. After that is adjourned, there's nothing on there about open discussion. Is there in fact going to be an open discussion, or is there not? And if there's not, I'd like to know why.
There will be.
There will.
There will be, there was a typo.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Abner?
Bill Hefner, 571 South Old Milltown Road, BAPA. I own various businesses and buildings here in Morton. On the Juneteenth, I didn't see any signs in front of the properties or anything. How many people would show up?
It's hard to give a full head count because people kind of coming and going, throughout the day, but I'm gonna say maybe 50 to 100 people. I'm guessing, yeah. Yeah.
And because
I tried to put some signs up on the post, the telephone poles and stuff, and, I had it online, so I tried to do it.
I was just curious, how we can get more people out, because I think we spent anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, which would be $100 a head if it's 50 or
Yeah, we didn't spend that much this year.
Okay, but
We were really trying to cut costs because we weren't sure of the turnout, so we really cut back, but it gives us kind of a jumping point for next year, so I'm gonna go into
I'm more
that.
interested in making sure that the public knows about this.
Absolutely.
The last couple of things, there was really no notice, maybe on the website, but not everybody uses it. So
Right.
putting signs up in front of my property or the coffee station.
Yep.
Or even over at Yale will actually help to let people know what's going on.
Yeah, great, yeah, that's something we need to work on, yeah, we're trying to get some signs and maybe put some in the yard and
Alright,
stuff,
well,
so
that's
yeah,
my 2
appreciate it,
cents.
yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Camino?
Mario Semina, 46 South Morton Avenue, under manager's report. Unless somebody can cite statute or case law that would contradict this, the Pennsylvania open meetings law is quite clear. Action can't be taken by borough council without a public vote. So I just want to verify that legally, Mr. Bill Stewart is still the borough manager.
So, we are not at a point where we would have a public vote on that. But ultimately, we'll discuss that at the next meeting.
All right. Mr. Saletti?
Hi, Michael Saletti, still live at 701 Country Lane, and I don't want to be repetitious, and I was going to talk about what Mr. Semino just talked about, and that apparently was covered, so I'll just talk later with the open discussion.
Okay, moving on to presentations. Tonight, we do have our auditor delivering our audit report, Mr. Ronald R. Woodward. You want to step on up to the podium?
Thank you. Try to face everybody. As far as an audit goes, one of the first things an auditor has to determine is the ability to rely on financial records of the borough. There was issues 2 years back, there's been some improvements, but there's still been some deficiencies in following procedures. That caused me to spend more time with the audit to go through the test, verifying that the information we publish to the state is sustained. Good question. It is. The results of the audit, which should be as important, showed that in the year 2023, the borough confronted some dire straits. Essentially, whatever surplus existed in the year 22 was absorbed in the year 23. To give you a brief comparison, the year 2023, now let me back up. As you see one borough, it's division, it's funds, some funds. One is your general fund. That's mostly government, take care of government activities. You also have another funded by the state called liquid fuels, highway aid. And that money comes from the fuel tax that you pay each gallon of gas. And then comes back to the borough to spend curb to curb. So in other words, it's gotta be street work spending on this money you get from the state. That's your second fund. You have a third fund that deals with the sewer. And the borough is struggling to catch up with the cost that Central Delaware County experiences as they maintain the infrastructure. The logic is when you have an authority like the Central Delaware County Authority handling pumping of the sewer system, those costs got to be paid by somebody, so it's paid by the members. There's, for example, this coming year, I think it's going to be a $16 million project. Chair, I thought, but generally, those costs get passed back. So looking at the borough having a deficit in 2023 of 130,000, you need to raise your fees. I mean, from the auditor, you know, a bliss to reality. You just sit there and look at numbers. If you have $130,000 loss, you don't survive. So you got to pass on those additional fees. But in addition to catching up to $130,000 loss, you got to kind of plan that there's going to be more costs because of the additional capital outlay at the authority, the CDCF. So that's your sewer fund. It's tight. It's losing money. There's some plans council and management has to try to recover some past due fees. Then your main fund, general fund. General fund showed a loss of 208,000. So you had a $130,000 loss with your sewer fund. You had a $208,000 loss with your general fund. What does that mean? Well, some people aren't paying their taxes. That contributes. Are the rates that we're charging not sufficient to cover the expenses? That's part of it. Can we control some costs? That's part. So council has a task upon them to try to turn these numbers around. That, okay, you had a nice profit in 22, the general fund, I think profit was about 200,000, and then it disappeared in 23, which had a $208,000 loss. The sewer fund is it's hard to keep up with the costs of managing the waste. Rebuilding infrastructure, this is an old system. It's not like some talent they put up. They're replacing systems that will last, I believe, 60 years. I understand talking to the Secretary of the Authority. Your one distortion that when you look at your newspaper and you see the results of the audit, it's skewed because your pension fund's in there. Borough has no access to that money. That's money people are contributing through payroll, some state funding, and for example, the pension fund in 23 had $170,000 profit. So I'm combining all that when I put the publication together to go into the newspaper. So just looking at that by itself, you might say, oh, okay, we lost $102,000. Take the pension fund off the books. And I should say, highway aid had a surplus, $50,000. So when I look at 330 minus 50, you got $180,000 loss as the borough. Again, I'm breaking it out. You got general fund, you got your sewer fund, then you got your highway aid fund. So council's tasked to try to turn that around. The alternative is that you'll eventually deplete what cash you have. And then you just start cutting back services. You're going to raise rates. So that's something that's been tested upon present council to see how the financial matters of borough can be turned around. I hate to say it, but if I looked at it quick and dirty, of course, it's a combination of cost, services. You might have to reconsider the taxes because what's your source of funding? There is one left who have to get grants. So that's something that possibly could be explored. Any major projects like the parks, try to get grant money for that possibly. I think there was attempts to try to do that. So the report I'm given isn't the best, but if I look back the year to 2022, was a pretty good year, but the sewer fund is always gonna be pulling you back. Because it's difficult to keep up. And people gotta pay their fees, because the ones that don't pay their fees means the ones that do are gonna be charged that much more. Because they gotta hit that breaking point. So when the budget time comes, they look at their costs, they have an idea, now this is the sewer fund. The biggest chunk is the fee you pay CDCA to take the sludge, the waste, and take it on down to Del Cora, who processes it before it goes out into the river. That's infrastructure is 100 years old. I really haven't got to the particulars, but I know the work being done now is gonna hopefully enhance it for another 60 years. So that's a plus. But to do that, the most recent project, $16 million. So that'll get divided amongst 13 members. I think it's 12 or 13. And they have to get that money so they can pay down the loan. Now, CDCA is going after grants. So the money's out there. But to get the process going, there's going to have to be someone having to look what agencies are offering, file the applications, and hope that you get some relief from this grant money. But you got to find a purpose. So parks would be, like if anything I was doing in the park, I'd want grant money. Because I'm really tight. I lost $200,000 in the general fund. So I got to be careful where I'm spending the money. And honestly, I haven't looked at the books this year yet, but maybe by the end of June, accounts are all reconciled. I did it for 6 months. Meet with council, discuss what I'm seeing. They can plan the rest of the year. In a few months, we go to your budget, your council, you know, budget for the rest of 2025. The years don't that fast, at least in my instance. So I just wanted to give a quick report that one, if you're looking at the publication in the newspaper each year, it'll show a number that's skewed by the pension fund. In my eyes, I always take that out because that you can't touch that. That's pension. So then I'm left with general fund, highway aid, sewer fund, and 2 of the 3 are losing money. The one that's making money is highway aid, or it's got a surplus. I should say it's making. It just hasn't been spent. So I don't see that money being available for anything but road fund. So that's your middle fund, highway aid. So the general and the sewer combined is $320,000 loss. So council is going to test. And how do you do that? And without putting too much of a burden on the residents.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Order? Do you have the information? Because I've been in a number of meetings where it's been discussed very much openly about people who don't pay their sewer bill every quarter, don't pay their trash bill every year, and don't pay their taxes. Out of that $130,000 out of the sewer fund, do you know how much was unpaid billed by residents? Because that's got to be going into the loss, right? Because they didn't pay.
You could say that, yeah. Do I know the amount? It's in my files and files.
Okay.
Is there a substantial amount? Yes.
They made it sound like that in every meeting it was discussed, and it is a substantial amount.
Yeah, and the intent, I believe, is to get it over and start a collection agency the process. Another one is the Morton's Hill. Got businesses in here, and oh gosh, 10 years ago, I was doing an audit of what businesses were paying versus not. Go after the ones that aren't paying.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately a problem. Well, you have somebody like Berkheimer, and you say they're gonna do everything for you because they lead themselves as a professional, they just process one.
That's all.
Yeah, so you've gotta coax them. Hook up with our code enforcement, hook up with management that would have lists of the businesses and match them up to who files, very simple. And then you just send them a letter, we'd like you to file for the last 6 years. So there's opportunity out there.
So with you answering that question for me, and thank you for that, there's a way to recoup a significant amount of that loss.
Yeah.
Without just raising everybody's sewer bill.
Yeah, I would make that the list. I'd go after it. Yes, sir. Mario was saying, so, you're next.
I guess this is work of council, but, on the subject that Mr. Slade brought up on the, arrears in, fees. Well, the public should understand taxes are handled by the Delaware County Tax Collection Authority, but the, sewer fees and trash fees are handled by the borough. During my tenure as borough council president, we engaged the services of Fort Knox and were successful in recouping a pretty substantial sum of money. My understanding is that, as was the case during my tenure, the borough secretary is tasked with turning those files over on an annual basis to Morton. My understanding is also that the borough secretary has not done that in several years. Is that true?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
From what I saw during the last couple years of audit is uncertainty on what to do with those delinquent accounts. So the suggestion by a predecessor council member to go back and accumulate the 9% late charge, include that in the amount to be transferred over to Morton. That was council's decision back then. My thought was just get them out. You know, if you want to go back and do that 9%, but that never got resolved. Are we going to go back, charge these people? Are we going to just do it going forward? That's a management decision. I'm not going to manage, I'm just the outside external auditor. So if the council makes a decision, move, my suggestion would be take what you got and move it over. If you want to charge them 9%, start today and go forward. Because to go back into the database, subsidiary ledgers, recreate 9%, 23, 22, 20. How far back are we going? I don't know that was ever answered.
I don't recall the prior policy ever being rescinded, so things should have been continued apace under the prior policy that goes back. Well, I'm going 4 years now. So
If I may say so, prior council did request that interest be added. There was a rainfall type of spreadsheet that was done, and it was not used by the office on that collecting monies. That was requested the last couple of years.
Retroactively charge the 9% for past 4 years or something like that.
Pardon?
I thought it was going to go back 3, 4, 5 years.
Well, I think it's been 2018 since it's been sent to Portland.
So you're looking at 6 years.
Mhm.
Before you transfer the files.
That was requested by previous council and was not carried out by the front office. Just to tell you what I know.
Their decision of council and process going, your key is money over there, so we're going to start pursuing it. You know, make the tax reasons the last choice. Do the same thing. Sorry, yeah.
Mr. Woodward, can you tell us where the COVID money was spent? Because it was a substantial amount of COVID money that the borough received from the federal government. And I realized that over the last 3 years, there were numerous expenses, thousands of dollars spent for labor returns.
I don't know the particulars of the labor attorney. I have a general understanding of what occurred, but that wouldn't be my round to answer. The labor attorney. And as far as the COVID money, government became rather lax, essentially let the governments use it as necessary. So that money was accumulated into an account at one time, but with the losses you're having, it's covering operating expenses.
You seem to know more about that than some council members. That money's been spent since January, $278,000.
No, the money was accumulated a couple years back, around 21, I guess. And I think Joe
22.
had consolidated into an account.
It was put into an interest-bearing account.
Yeah, yeah. And then from there, it just got transferred out to cover operating expenses.
Huh.
Within the general fund.
Well, I'm not aware of it.
That was
Well, you had
almost
to sign
$300,000.
You had to sign that.
50 something. 278,
Yes, it was.
278.
Yes.
278,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have other townships. That money went to anything that's general operating expenses. Government got lax.
Well, I know that this borough held that money because the government didn't tell them how they were permitted to spend it.
That's right.
Correct.
And Michelle is correct in saying that they held it and placed it in an interest-bearing account, but nothing was ever said about how that COVID money was spent over the last, well, the 3 years that you looked at the books, because nobody's looked at 24.
Again, I would say that when you're operating at a loss and your cash balances are going down, the money got used to cover operating expenses.
Wow.
That's not uncommon. I have other townships that they were putting shields up in the office. They were building retaining walls because of the virus. It was just used for general operating expenses for the if you lost 200,000. So that's where the issue is now going forward. What do we do now? That money for all intent purposes has been spent. So what do? We've got a good amount of money sitting in the money accounts of trash and sewer. Marion mentioned. You know, it's the collection agency. I've mentioned recently, Morton, because it's a task. You have to contact Borough. They're just processing cash. You got to say the Borough number. I want to print out everybody's file, or I want to copy all the returns. That's what I did years ago. And then you compare that to your list that management has of all the businesses in the Borough of Morton. You just go through it. Didn't file, they get a letter.
Are we still paying the clerk from the accounting firm $100 an hour to come in once a week to do data input? We are.
Yes.
I don't know that it's $100 an hour.
It was said at council meetings in the past that was the rate.
Yeah, I see the total bill.
Okay,
I know it's
yeah,
for-
that's gotta stop, guys.
Well,
Yeah.
essentially, it took two bodies to replace one. Yeah, managers, all that. You can't replace two managers back. So, Borough dealt with it by slowing out the account.
One of the things I just want to say, we want to thank Mr. Woodward coming in and talking and explaining. One of the things is that we really went through these books. I saw a lot. I was concerned. I started letting council know and saying, look, we will take his recommendations. We're at that 6-month point. So we're redoing everything, looking at everything, where we have this, where we have that. We're sitting down with each department. I'm looking at the police department. I'm looking at general fund. I'm looking at everything. And I really thank him for stepping in and giving us the recommendation and then seeing that this has not just happened in 1 year. It's a 3-year period. We saw the problem was happening and that things wasn't being done. And we want to correct this stuff now. We don't want to raise your taxes.
I hope it's right.
I know that's good. We're trying to just pull everything together.
The thing I'm about to say,
Well, hold on, wait, before you go, let me just say, I want him to continue, because I know you guys probably do have questions and we can come back to those. But I want him to get through this so we can also continue on with the meeting, but we will address, he will answer the question.
The guy gets cut off.
You know, it's not about getting cut off, it's just that he's presenting, right? So even letting the first few questions, like you were, I wanted to, yes, you were. So I want him to get through so we can, but we
Fair
can
enough.
revisit. Your question is not going nowhere. It's up to you to keep it in your brain, though. That I can't help you on that. Okay, all right.
The first thing that I would comment on is that the borough has been able to maintain paying down debt. So you borrow money to do road work, that one loan finally got paid off last year. When I look at the audit report, I put my own schedule together, what debt you had at the beginning, trace through your ledgers, sort of document to verify, and I saw that there was a fairly decent amount of debt paid down. in 2023. So if you can keep that up another 4 years and you don't borrow, that's money that frees up to cover other operating expenses. So that's another of those variables. How do I turn that bottom line into zero? We're positive. So other than that, what I'm saying is your losses that are in the general and sewer fund are substantial. 230,000 round number. You have a highway aid fund where liquid fuels have profit. That money can only go to street work, can't cover operating expenses. And pension fund, unfortunately, it is all consolidated in the borough's audit report. So when one looks at totals, if you want to see how the borough's done, you really got to pull out the activity of the pension fund. And then you'll see what I see that the borough operated at a loss this year. Had as much profit in 22, and it just all went away in 23. So for the last 2 years, so I'm done with mine.
There you go. Back to you.
So I'm not sure that this question is for you or Mr. Evil. So I'm thinking it's kind of a legal question. I don't know if municipalities can do what I know happens in other parts of the world. Where there's groups out there, there's organizations that buy debt. But we lump all our arrears sewer, arrears trash, arrears borough taxes into one sum, and those things are negotiated, right? So you, the council people, would negotiate with whatever organization that you find that does quote unquote buy debt. And let's say it's $1 million in arrears and you get 50 cents on a dollar. You're gonna get $500,000, one lump sum, and then they're gonna deal with those people that owe the money. And they're willing to do that because they expect they're gonna make money from doing that. Let's say it's 70 cents on a dollar. We're gonna give you 700 million. And then they're gonna go after that million that's out there. Once again, that's a negotiated thing. It's not a set fee. And I know there's organizations that do that all. Just like, I'm sure all of you that have mortgages somewhere along the way, your mortgage was sold. And you had it with XYZ Bank, and the next thing you know, it's with ABC Bank. That stuff happens all the time.
You're referring to the factory where you sell off your accounts receivables on something less than $1.
Right.
And that's a consideration.
I just don't know if it's legal. That's why I was looking at Mr. Evil. He's our solicitor slash attorney.
I have never heard of, Borough doing that.
Doesn't mean it can't be done though, right?
Right, but bad debt generally sells at a lot less than a lot lower rate, and the deal with Portnoy is better for the borough, where if you hand it over to Portnoy, they handle all the collections. And the borough gets back 100% of the debt that's collected because the fees are tacked on to the collection. So if they have to file with the court, there's this fee that's tacked on.
We've been using them since 2018. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
How are they doing with collecting the debt?
We haven't been.
We haven't been using.
Oh, it is, we want to do it, that's what's gonna happen now. As I said, when we went in and started, look, it hasn't been done. We're gonna start sending everything back to Portland, because they
Okay.
under contract.
See, I was under the impression that everything I heard, they've
Yeah.
been using them since 2018 and they got nowhere.
No,
Yeah.
we've been using them a long time. Nothing's been sent from the council, from the borough since 2018.
Okay,
Usually it's sent every 2 years.
okay.
So at COVID, decided not to do it, not knowing what was gonna happen with COVID, just to be nice. And now it hasn't been done anyway.
Does anyone have any more questions for Ron?
Thank you so
Do you?
much.
I just have a comment. Thank you for bringing this information to council's attention and to the residents' attention. You know, I pretty much attend all the council meetings and I understand what they've approved as far as the disbursements every month. And I also understand what they vote on, police cars or fluorescent lighting or, you know, whatever else they vote on. So I did try to participate in some of the budget meetings last year. It was frustrating and horrendous to try to understand exactly what was going on and what the final budget was. But thank you for presenting tonight. Thank you for bringing this attention to the residents and council and to council. Please, we've got to do something to work through and collect more money from people that owe it to us. It's a business. It's a business.
Mhm.
And it hurts the people that pay their taxes and their sewer, and it really does. So, you know, and if Portnoy is not the company that's gonna do this in the right way or on a timely manner, get somebody else. Get somebody else to do it, or appoint a committee and do it in-house. Thank you.
So just, Mario, so we pretty successful with that. Just a bit of perspective from, so I don't want to date Mr. Woodworth, but he has been in this position as auditor long before, I don't know how long, but before I came on council. And so all councils, in anyone's memory, Mr. Woodworth has had the same responsibility to apprise them and work with them, and I know he has during my time, and I wouldn't imagine why there would be any gap in it. But just, you know, perspective again. When I came on and when I was finance chair, we were in the middle of the 2008 economic downturn. There was panic, frankly. One council member suggested that we did divest our entire pension fund from the private equity market and put it all on bonds. Make no mistake, if we had done that, if cooler heads hadn't prevailed, we would be bankrupt right now. You think we're in trouble year over year right now? we would be in deep, deep trouble. But, you know, I understand that the numbers are serious, they require serious attention and action from the council, and they should be concerning to the residents. But also, this is something that, this is why the job is hard. You know, this is what you have to deal with here. Apparently, this change came about rather suddenly in 2023, and what I haven't heard is whether that the 2024 budget was the tax rates and spending were done with an eye toward correcting something that there was already some awareness of or not. But if not, then it's gonna have to be addressed in coming years. But please do not just go off and, you know, Norwood went down this road. They thought they were in a financial crisis some years ago. They raised taxes by 40% one year. It turned out it was not even remotely necessary because people didn't do their homework and just happened. Please do not do that. It's not fair for you. It's not fair for the business.
If I could just make one more comment and supplement that. One of the things when I was in corporate, we would put a budget together. We look at it. We have monthly reports. We compare it to budget and we determine almost on a monthly basis if we got variances. We want to find out why, what. To take it at borough level, what I'd be looking at is periodically, you're looking at actual versus budget. There's a certain report you get out of the accounting program. And if you find that the revenues are coming in under budget, you're cutting back spending sooner than later. That's something that I'm just throwing out as a suggestion that, you know, maybe a little more oversight with the reports from management that take a position, we're going to cut things back. We don't want to raise taxes. So where do we have the luxury to cut back a little? And when I heard one president comment about the recent Juneteenth event, do you cut that out altogether? When you're losing $200,000, well, you don't want to do that. The residents will feel scorned. But you know, what's the other side of the coin? Raising taxes. Well, no, we're going to report it all first. We're going after mercantile taxes next, and then we need to get an idea, a guesstimate, I guess, today or a month from now. How much are we going to get? And then when you do your budget for 25, you got to watch as 25 occurs. I mean, in March, first 3 months, when it's starting to flow in. How are we doing compared to budget? When you get to like August, and it doesn't look like we're going to do budget, because now it's going to start tailing off. Everybody's filing the first few months of the year. By the time you get to August, September, it's stragglers coming, late filers, extensions, that stuff. Minor, 10%, 15%. I'm going to know in August if I'm going to meet my budgeted revenues. Why am I focusing on revenues? Because my revenues don't meet my budget. I got to cut expenses.
Right.
That's my last thought.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam President. Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Good night. Okay, we're gonna move on to our committee reports, starting with public facilities and infrastructure. Counselor Breath Ann M. Johnson.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening.
The only thing on my agenda would be this thing called Morton Avenue in North Providence. So that was looked into. And it's going to be part of the 2024 Borough program. And all of that should be starting the first or second week. So the next week is July. And so that will be worked on at that time. That's all I have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to finance and administration.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Second quarter sewer bill is now in the penalty phase. We're just talking about that. So they were due 6/17/24. So please, everybody, get your sewer bills paid in time. Try not to get any further behind on that we're asking. And I also want to talk about, I didn't have it on the agenda, but I was just going to talk about that I had the opportunity of going to the annual Borough Association conference up in Hershey. And I will recommend that any council member and even the mayor, if you have not attended, please go. There's so much information out there. and people willing to share. You meet other borough council people, other mayors. You can throw ideas over here. Also attended, the 3 new ones attended the boot camp, which was online. So it just brought everything right finally into say what we're doing and what we're doing. So this just added to what my committee is working on and what we're doing. And they was willing to answer any question we had. I mean, there's a lot of information out there and it's constantly going. That you can look at, conferences that you might be interested in that would help you with your committee and everything. I asked everybody to start paying attention to your emails. I brought information back. They probably got tired of me posting, putting things in their boxes. So I'm just asking, please, another thing I would like to stress, council members, please go in your mailboxes. Please, there's information in there that you need, and we have some that don't go in at all. You need to go in there and look at your information. Thank you.
Okay, on the public safety itself, reporting that on Saturday from 12 to 4, the fire company is hosting a food truck. I say rally because we've never had that before. Everybody's excited. Come out, buy some food. I heard it's a lot of vendors showing up. I'm excited to see it. So thank you, thank you. And then that's really it. I don't want to touch on the other event because that's you, Doug. On the public health and sanitation and recycling.
Good evening. On the agenda this evening, June 29th, being Saturday, here at 10 o'clock, here at the Borough, and not at Social Field, we'll meet here at the Borough from 10 to 12. I'm asking everyone and anyone to come out and get involved in cleaning up. Once again, this is just something that this is our community, so I'm asking people to volunteer to go out. I also noticed that all of us come from different sides of the street, so I'm sure there's a resident that can rally on each street and ask someone to come out and get involved in the cleanup. Like I said, we'll take adults, children, young, old, anyone that wants to come out and help us clean out in the community. You're all welcome. Also keep in mind, there's no recycling pickup on July 4th. The next pickup will be July 11th. Also be mindful when you do your recycling, because last week when I was up here in the office, we did get a call that residents were storing garbage in their recycling containers. So remember that on Thursday is strictly recycling. It is not a 2-day trash pickup. So please be mindful of that. Question.
Ms. Miller, Ms. Roberts, are you, giving out bags or gloves? Or anything?
Yes, we'll have bags and gloves. Time? 10 o'clock here at the Borough. Yep. Okay, you're welcome.
Moving on to law and ordinance, Counselor Michelle Miller.
Good evening. We don't have the chief here tonight, so we originally on the agenda had been talking about abandoned cars, but he's not here, so we can't address that. But what is on the agenda is the ongoing problem on Country Lane about parking and people receiving their mail. So the post office has come up with an idea, which is very interesting, that our postal service is sort of thinking, shall we say, outside the box. That our postmaster has suggested that he's speaking with the supervisors about this, that we ask the residents on Country Lane, since they have mailboxes that are on poles, if they simply reverse their mailboxes. So if they don't face the street, they face their homes, and then the mailman will be required to walk and deliver the mail. Seems like a really simple thing to do. I understand from a couple of the residents that twisting your mailbox around the other direction is removing a couple of screws and turning it and then putting it back. So the post office is working on a letter, which I guess will be sent to us to approve, to give out to the residents suggesting this. Seems too easy. So if it works, it'll be terrific. And if there's a problem with somebody's mailbox, then they'll have to take that up with their landlord or whatever. And if it works, we'll see. So the residents can, at open discussion, if you have any questions about it, you can ask them. But that's all I know about it at this point in time, and seems like an easy fix.
Councilwoman Miller, at the last meeting, we had a couple of residents here, more residents were calling and asking. They asked for a meeting because a lot of people were not aware of what's going on. Did you schedule a meeting? With anybody, are you waiting for your committee?
I would be waiting till our committee meeting for something like that. The residents that were here, though, the two residents you're referring to are homeowners, individual and single homeowners, and they are not necessarily affected by this. It's really the people in the duplexes. So that's a question, but with them, they don't have the parking problems in front of their homes. They have driveways and so on and so forth. So
I would recommend that a meeting be scheduled, because they did, they were residents and they own their home. The question was brought up and they asked it. Just want to make sure.
Well, and I spoke with them afterward, so on and so forth. The problem is trying to get a hold of all the residents. There's 127 homes along Country Lane.
I do believe
to
that's what the
expect,
letter, the letter will address that.
a letter was hand delivered to their doorways about this initially, and we had 2 people show up in person. So out of 2 homes out of 125, we can offer to do that, but this may be the answer right here. What they, you know, what was suggested. So
thank you.
Think about that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Community and Economic Development.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
A couple updates for you. The comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance update is on its last stage. It's going to be delivered hopefully in late July. They're finishing up the zoning component, office and transition with staffing. So hopefully we'll have something soon on that. I know they've been working for a long time, so it should be coming in soon. So I will let you know as soon as we get more on that. The website and social media update. I'm going to save the website stuff for last. But the social media, make sure that you remember that we have a Facebook page. Please like us on Facebook and share it to anyone that's in the borough. You can go to Facebook and just type in Borough of Morton, PA. You'll know it's ours because we got the seal on there. So check it out. We need lots of friends. So please go and like our page. Okay. The Juneteenth event. I think it was a great success. It's my first time kind of running any of these kind of events. So you know, I was getting my toes in and getting my feet wet with these, so I thought it was a great turnout. I was really trying to cut, but because we weren't sure of the whole budget, I was trying to really cut down on costs, and just kind of hoping this, would leap into next year where we can figure out a lot more of what we're going to need and some of the requirements. But we had music piped in out of the PA. I have a whole bunch of people that I was thanking. It really was a community event. It was the entire, Borough Council, the Economic and Development Committee. Mayor Hammock was part of getting the food together, which was provided by Myron's Soul Food Kitchen. So thank you for that, because that was a big deal. And that was very, very good. If you didn't get a chance to have some of that, it was delicious. The Morton Police Department, the Morton Rutledge Fire Department. We had a couple performers, the New Life Temple Church and Essence of Joy. And Chris Nelson, you were in the New Life Essence of Joy, right? Okay, okay. So anyways, I put a couple of clips online. They were just wonderful performances, and I've already invited them back for next year. So hopefully they will take us up on that offer. We had Abby from Teams for Positive Empowerment get up there and speak. We also had, did I put that down? There was somebody from another church, and I forget the lady's name, Sister.
Yeah, from
Remember?
St.
Okay, so she got.
Yeah,
Okay, and-
but yeah, St. Francis.
Yeah, she was there. You thank Lisa Lockley for recommending Abby to come out for Teams for Positive Empowerment. Regina Lloyd did face painting. Robert Neal came out with a whole bunch of historical documents and set them out, and there was loyal free vendors. So I mean, it was really, really a nice turnout. I thought it was great, and it does give us a lot of work to kind of, take from this year and build it on next year, because I really do want this to be one of Morton's biggest and best events of the whole year. So, that's how it went. If anybody has any questions about the event, please feel free to ask me. Some upcoming events are movie night, which is tomorrow. I'm sorry, Friday. It's not tomorrow. It's Friday, at, it says 9 o'clock here, but I'd recommend getting there earlier, because you want to get a spot, when the sun goes down and stuff, they usually start the movie about 8 or 8:30, so you don't want to get there at 9. It might have already started. The movie is going to be Encanto. There is popcorn available for anybody that wants some.
Yay.
And the weather looks absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
So, I mean, it just looks like a gorgeous night. So please come out and join everyone for the movie night. Tuesday, September 17th is the Red Cross Blood Drive. That's going to be at Morton Borough Hall from 2 to 7. And then we also have the Morton 5K on October 5th. You can sign up for that if you want from runtheday.com and be a part of it. It's a run/walk, so you don't have, you can kind of go at your own pace. It's just a fun day. It's not, there's nothing hard for it. We're not giving out huge cash prizes or anything. So, it's just a fun thing that we're going to get everybody together and have some water and some bananas at the end. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the website. And while it's not finished, I do have a preview for people that are here. So this isn't, please don't give me tons of feedback because we're working on it. Just wanted to show you where we're at and kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to try to share my screen so that people on Zoom land can see it as well. So let's see if I can do this right. IT should be able to do it, right? Okay, so here we go. So let me move that over as far as I can. So here is the new website. Can you see it out there?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see it's just a much more updated feeling than the old website. The old website is still currently working. Please go there for all the relevant information as of now. But you can see we've got a couple things on here. I'm going to use this section. You've got council meetings, couple links there that are kind of right in the front, nice and easy for people to get to. The meeting live streams will be posted here. Also, the borough calendar will be updated there with all the events and all the meetings that we have. So you'll be able to go right there on the front page and check it out. We'll also have the Facebook feed that comes on the front page. So anything that's posted to Facebook will go right there as well. And then there's just a couple of really cool, quick links. You've got the meetings here where they're going to be there, upcoming meetings and stuff. The government's going to show the council as well as some of the other stuff. So we do have those. I'm still waiting for bios for some people who haven't sent them in, so please send them to me. That's what's going to be reported down here, okay? So we do have everyone. There they are. There's the rest. Okay, so that's the council, and then some other stuff will be on here. The departments, they're
wish
waiting
they
for
were playing
that's
shots.
still in work. The
You still
forums.
saw my flaws.
What?
You said they were glamour shots. I said, I wish they were. Like, I didn't have the faded face or any of that.
The forums are kind of updated
How
here,
much was
so we just worked on this
Just out of
recently, and what's nice is there's a button
When
where
it
you can
was-
actually take the form, you can download it, you can
So we found out how
take
much
it
it
and
was.
upload it right to us. So, which is nice, so you won't have to
Yes.
come to the office to give you a form anymore, you can just download and upload it right to the borough. Okay, and then there's a contact page, so it's pretty, it's basic, but at the same time, it's really everything that we need and everything we want, and this is always gonna grow. I mean, it's always gonna be worked on, whether it's now or 10 years from now, we're 5 years, maybe 10 years will be outdated, but 5 years from now. So this is where we're at now. That's pretty much it. So I hope everyone likes it. These pictures will be scrolling through kind of as you look at the site. We're gonna get a bunch of more updated ones for historical ones. This is new ones too. So those will be kind of scrolling through. But I just want to give everybody a look at the website. Okay.
Good job.
Good job,
Great
Doug.
job.
Thank you, Doug, for taking that on.
And that ends my presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking that on, Doug.
Now if I can stop sharing.
Right.
All right.
Brett, stop share.
Oh, yeah, that would work. There we go. Thank you.
We're gonna move on to Parks and Rec. Counselor Walter Stubbs.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to first reach out to the family who donated the flag for Jacobs Park. I haven't met them, I haven't spoken to them, but I did leave them a God bless you, thank you on the website. So do we know who they were, what family member,
I believe it was Cal Wright.
Carol Wright.
Was it Cal? Yeah.
We want to thank her for reaching out, their family reaching out
her
and
son.
presenting Jacobs Park with a brand new flag. 25 National Fitness Campaign for Fitness and Wellness, Jacobs Park. There was a meeting on Friday with the representatives of the grant succeeded. I wanted to show you don't have that picture of
The blue
Jacobs Park.
Yeah, it's in
It's in,
Borough.
I wanted to be posted on the wall so the visitors and the members of Morton could see that of what we're trying to do and what we will do with Jacobs Park. I want to start removing benches, the old benches, the old grills. I want them taken out. I had requested this. You can see through Sycamore Avenue over here, and you can see how clean this park is. But it's going to be cleaner in year 2025, and I'm pushing 2025 for both parks. Jacobs Park is the park I want because of the picnic benches and the picnic grills. People are still having the opportunity to have picnics in there. The basketball courts, we need to have that resurfaced, and that's part of the grant. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff between now and the first spring part of 2025. We want to be able to reach out once again, and I've noticed a lot of people have contacted me back. I reached out to the Phillies, I reached out to other societies, colleges, to find out if they present interesting events for young kids to learn how to pursue baseball, young ladies how to pursue tennis, whatever they enjoy. I want to have that format built in Morton by 2025. I want to have them things whereas they will either mentally learn it first and then physically be able to learn it in 2025. But that's why we continue to reach out to those public people who know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. I don't know all that, but I did as a child, played baseball here in the community. As a military soldier, I did football in Springfield High School. I played basketball at Springfield High School. So I want to be able to drop this off. I know there's some young men and young women that are from Morton that are part of the welfare of Springfield Athletic Association. So I want to reach out to them and make sure that the younger kids will learn how to play and be safe when they're playing. I understand that there was a business down here in Morton that wanted to put a roller skating ring. I'm going to be reaching out to them to see if they can't bring that roller skating rink up to the park and just have a roller skating day, a roller skating weekend, and see how that works. I'm going to reach to Mr. Hefner and find out if he has hoses that will stretch from one side of his building to the church park and church property in front of my house. So I want to put some water slides there, and we will donate your change that we owe you and donate the water bill for if we can do that. And I'm open for any suggestions of anybody that wants to work with the children in this community, wants to keep them as neighbors and have them grow up with sense that they can do whatever they want to do as they get older. So that's my speech. I'm done for the night. Oh, one more thing. I want to reach out to a mason, but once again, go over to the Jacobs Park on that block wall to finally get the mason work done that's been ruined for the last 15 years, just like the flagpole was ruined for 15 years. We want to step up and get that stuff done. We want to get it looking nice and looking good and looking safe. Any questions?
Yes, Jacob Park. Has anyone been over to cut the grass? Because the grass, I know I observed it yesterday. The grass needs to be cut, and I'm sure because it's been hot out.
Yeah.
Nobody's been able to do it,
And
but
the tree branches are falling.
yes, exactly. And then there's just mulch sitting there. I didn't know if that was purposely.
I have
set there.
nobody has
Okay,
Nobody has given
It's
me
just
any.
things that need to be tended.
The mulch, the
Right.
mulch can be used. It needs to sit out for
Mhm,
2 to 6 months till it can be used.
mhm.
We should keep the mulch because we're gonna be planting a lot of trees to replace things that were taken down.
No,
So,
no, wait,
I
wait,
mean,
wait.
that-
Who said we're gonna, we ain't planting no trees?
Yes, we are. There's.
Who said that?
That's always been part of the plan.
When was that
There's a
discussed?
study.
All right.
When
There's
was
still,
that
there's
discussed?
time out. That's, yeah, so there's still
That-
trees that actually still need to come down.
That's
right
true too. That's true too. But I'm just saying that there's a tree study that's part of the grant.
Yeah,
And
sure.
about replanting trees.
Yeah.
That's part of the reforestation of all the
You
trees that were
you gotta
taken
read
down.
it.
Right, it's in the grant.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gotta read it.
So anyway, so that's the thing.
but I
right
had
now
nothing to
about
do with the grant.
No, you did.
All right, and it wasn't part of, it was part of making pathways for seniors to walk and for children to walk through the parks. The trees that are there, that are coming down, we're not gonna replace them.
Are you
Yes,
talking
we are.
about in Jacob or Sycamore?
I'm talking about both parks.
Yes, we are.
Well, then I ain't park and recreation then.
Well, it's in the grant, sir.
No,
Mr.
I ain't
Phelps,
seen
I'll
it.
sit
I
down.
have
Yeah,
never,
we'll sit down
I
and
have
go through. I
never
just
seen
don't-
the grant. And I've been a
So-
park and recreation,
so-
so I have never been introduced to the grant.
Well,
So,
Mr. Stubbs, I have it here for you. That's
yeah,
what I
we'll
was
go
talking
through,
about.
we'll sit
We'll
and go
point
through,
by point. So
the
you'll know
actual
what's
grant.
going on.
Yeah, because you may not have been privy to some of the information, so we will go through
no,
that with you.
I have it
It's
right here on.
available. It's always been available.
I do believe that the Delco Greenways Round 4 Community Forest Plan for Sycamore
Mhm.
is now working on the cleanup, and removal. They have been working over here, as you see the big mound, that's the mulch. I hope that they're not done, because there's still some trees, one specifically ready to come down on my house. I mean, it's welcome to come down, but you know, so hopefully they will continue with that over there, but, they are in round 4. And then the DCNR Park Development and Revitalization, grant has been submitted as of April 3rd. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
April. We're still waiting. You said January.
Oh, that's in January? I'm trying to push it to the next year already. So, I'm sorry, April 3rd, 2024, and we are awaiting the notice, if we were awarded that grant. We're gonna move on to our mayor's report. Mayor Hammack, you have anything for us?
Gonna make it real quick. One, the Juneteenth was wonderful. I wasn't able to spend the whole day there, but the amount of time that I was able to spend, was great. It was great seeing everyone out and everyone just looked happy and talking and engaging with each other. So fantastic job for all of you that were involved. I do want to let residents know, Delaware County residents age 60+ can get a free fan this summer. I mentioned that because I've seen Carl waving his thing, trying to keep cool over there. I can make sure that Doug, I'll give you the link if you want to post it on Facebook. But anyone that would be interested, it's through the COSA program, and anyone that would be interested, just give us a call. You know, we'll have the information here. There's pickup at their senior centers, and there's one pretty much within driving distance or transit distance, fairly close to all of us. So that's all I would like to know.
And if you go to the senior center, they ain't gonna offer it to you. You have to ask. They offer to the members who come every time, every day. But if you want the fan, you have to make sure you ask, oh, do you have any more fans? But they're all around every senior center. You have to do that. There also are vegetable and fruit vouchers that are out there, and these vouchers. You could go to your senior center and also get those. Okay, you have to, each center is different. Some will give them out right then, some you have to fill out the form, put in the application and come back the next week to get them. But in summertime, you want to make sure you get your vouchers. They're free.
The mayor's trying to print out a flyer and put it on the bulletin board, so everybody, if you want a copy, we'll make it.
Mayor, was that all you had for us?
Yes.
This evening? Thank you. We do not have a manager's report because we
Can't meet, leave it up.
will move on to our action items.
You could leave it out.
I want to paint it on his wall so we can see it.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for January through April 27, 2024, regular and agenda meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. If you have a copy of your agenda meeting, please look at your upcoming meetings and events. A few of the events we've already spoken about, are on there as well. We will go on to our open discussion.
I have one question. Tomorrow night's civil services meeting, and I don't see that listed anywhere. And I don't see it on the upcoming meetings and events, and there is an agenda listed on the website.
There's an agenda on the door too. I don't know why I didn't get on there, just it got missed because at 7 o'clock tomorrow, there's a civil service meeting.
So civil services meeting tomorrow night at 7. Thank you.
I just want to say real quick, Mr. Sweaty, it's good to see you. And it's been a while. I know you have to top your game, so it's very good to see you back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the Phillies won today.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Another series they won. Go Phils.
No. We're gonna move on to open discussion, Mr. Lee.
Good evening. Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, United States of America. One thing that I would like to bring to the attention of the council is this. If Mr. Stewart, in fact, is removed as a borough manager, it's my understanding that Mr. Stewart is a part-time manager. I don't believe there is any money that was appropriated for a full-time manager. So whoever takes Mr. Stewart's place for at least 2024, the balance of it, will have to agree that it to be a part-time position, because there's been no money appropriated for a full-time manager. If the council wants to do that for 2025, that's at the discretion of council, because a full-time manager will want at least a 6-figure pay with benefits for himself or herself, plus for a spouse and any minor children. So you might want to think about that, and not that it would mean a blessed bit of good, but if I was up there on the dais with you fine folk, I'd be against removing Mr. Stewart, because from my perspective, he's been doing a bang-up job and should continue as long as he wants it. That's how I look at it. And I don't want to start an argument with Mr. Saletti. I'm sure he has his idea of what the greatest baseball game of all time was. But for me, Game 5, the 1969 World Series between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Mets, where the New York Mets won it 4-1. To me, that was the best World Series game ever. And the New York Mets in 1969 were the best team. I've been wanting to say that for decades. Finally, it's out. And I don't care. And quite frankly, I don't care who it affects. I don't. I don't.
On the Borough of Morton.
So,
Because you're here.
so I wish I could say that I wish I could have said that to the people in my old neighborhood, which I wish to God had never been developed, but that's another story for another time. So I want to thank you all for listening, and for the fact that you have to listen to people like me. All of you should be paid for, I would call it hazardous duty. You should have hazardous duty pay. You know, for a lot of the grief that you all take from the general public. So with that, I'm going to conclude, and I'm going to conclude with the final words of the President Richard Nixon's address to the nation on the evening of August 8th, 1974. May God be with you in the days ahead.
Thank you. Jackie got it.
Good evening, Jacqueline Guy, 6:30.
Good evening.
Country Lane. One question, well, I have a few. Where is the police chief? Why is the police chief not here?
Police chief attends
the first meeting of the month when he gives his report, which had been almost in my attendance of years before I even took my position. Chief Laspina was here giving his report. He was not here at every single
Yes,
meeting.
it was.
Yes,
Yes,
it
he
was.
No, he was
There
not.
has
He was
been,
not here. You have heads shaking.
No,
Here.
he was
Not at every
Wasn't
single
here at
meeting.
okay, but I haven't seen him. I mean, we keep asking questions and
He was here at the beginning of the month. At that meeting.
second
I'm sorry, that was vacation. It was at the first meeting.
Let her get out, you get your answer out and keep.
all right, my other question, so apparently we're broke. Okay, we have $280,000, is that the right number?
278.
78, oh, okay. So that wasn't the law.
208 plus 1.
Okay, 208 plus 1/3. So I guess,
278 is the total.
That's the COVID money.
okay, so I guess some of the questions I have is, I know that this year so far, we've given raises, double digits to the employees of the borough. We want to hire a second full-time borough employee, maintenance person. Now that we, for some reason that I cannot determine, fired the person that actually wrote the grants for the borough. Now we're gonna fire that person because why? I don't know, because I don't know. Y'all come in here and I don't get it. Really, I don't get it. Changed email addresses. You want to replace a fence that's 115 years old. I don't understand where all this money is gonna be coming from if we're already having this problem with money. So I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand. We bought 2 new police cars last year. Now we have to buy another police car for the chief. That's $100,000 right there.
We're not buying another police car.
That's what we were told earlier.
No one said that ever.
You said. you
He,
weren't doing
he
that.
asked for it.
Okay, so
But-
you're not buying it for that's
No.
fine. Why are we replacing the fences around the park?
Haven't gotten that far yet either.
But you've been talking about
Come to the committee meeting.
Yeah.
You'll find out everything.
Everything you need to
it.
know.
We have committee meetings,
There's
so
no
I'm
reason
asking
to
you,
replace
come
the
give your
fences.
But
suggestions.
the way, so like, here's the thing. As you know, the personnel issue, right? However, the way you speak, I feel like you have like a lot of information, right?
No, this isn't about
But you
that.
do because you said we're doing this and we've done that
Well,
and
yeah.
we've done this. So according to you, you know, right? Because you're saying,
I'm asking
how could we?
questions.
But you know, it's a personnel issue, right?
Not personnel about the fence. The fence isn't
We haven't
personnel.
done anything with the fence. We spoke about the fence because it has become a liability.
No, it has not. No, it has not. You've
That's
been,
fine.
one person got injured on that.
One child,
One
too
child
many.
too many.
child
It
cracked
was
his
your
head on that
child.
fence.
Well,
I did not
that's
sue
you.
the borough.
One child too many.
But that's you.
And how much is it gonna take to replace the fence?
We're
We're
looking
looking
into that. That's why I
into
say come to the committee. meeting.
Yeah, like you
That's it.
seem like you have them.
Well, I don't know when the committee meetings
All right,
are because
thank you
it's
so
not- I
much.
don't know when the committee
time's
meetings
up.
are.
Thank you.
When
Yes,
are the
you do
committee
because they're listed on the agenda. Stop.
Where, there's no
Moving
committee meetings
on.
listed on the
No, that
agenda.
don't have the last agenda.
Cecilia Todd, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll make sure you get a list of the committee meetings. So you'll know when they're gonna happen.
Thank you. Start that over. Thank you.
I'll be fast.
Sure, thank you.
Cecilia Todd, 110 Alfield Lane, Morton, Pennsylvania. I just had a couple of things to say. I did attend Juneteenth and I thought that that was a great event, Doug. Thank you. And thank you everyone that
You
had
did a
something
good job.
to do with it. The people that were there were quite enjoyable and they did enjoy their time. The food was delicious and everybody was happy to be there. I was there on behalf of the fire company and several people came through and they looked at the equipment, looked at the trucks and took pictures, so that was really nice. I wanted to have council please consider, under the pending circumstances, consider please hiring a grant writer. Find somebody that can do that so that we don't miss any opportunities. Mr. Stewart was very successful in grant writing for the borough and he brought some substantial money in. Hero banners, thank you for putting the hero banners up that were ordered in November. I got a lot of feedback on the hero banners that went up and I did hand out 5 or 6 applications to people that were interested in having their family go up. I wanted to talk, just double back on the Morton Rutledge Fire Company event. Everybody's gonna come to Encanto on Friday night at Social Field, and then they're gonna come at 10 o'clock in the morning and help with the cleanup. And then at 12 o'clock, they're gonna be on Alpha Terrace with food trucks and all the vendors at Social Field with the Morton Rutledge Fire Company. And at 4 o'clock, quarter panel's gonna start at the fire company. It's a great event. Please try not to miss it because it's gonna be great.
Can I interject? And just remember, as you're here for the food festival, be kind and put your trash away.
How about, be responsible.
He should definitely,
Yeah.
he should get in,
Yes.
he should get in on that.
Bust your own trash.
There's some files, there's some
Maybe
papers
clean
up
out
here
or something.
relate to the fire department's annual fund. If you have a paper you can get as a resident, please consider. And, information about the events that are happening. We're gonna have a car wash, the fire department's gonna have a car wash at the, Amvets at the beginning of July. And then there's the cornhole in September, and then in October, there's gonna be, bingo, drag queen bingo, so that's October.
Oh, yeah, down for that.
Yeah.
Drag queen bingo.
Thank you. Mr. Hefner?
Surprised that. Without
Bill Hefner, 571 South Old Mill Town Road, Media, PA. Couple of questions. Because we're running in a deficit, I'm assuming now, is it still possible I can get the P&Ls, let's say by July 15th for June? Usually I can ask Bill Stewart, but I don't think he's gonna be available. So
I'm sorry. Can you get the what?
Profit and loss and the balance sheet.
Yes.
I still can
Yes.
get that.
I have.
But I can email you and
Yes,
you'll
now I'm
email me copies.
Yes,
Okay, good.
that'll be a bit more, but
Because I'm looking for the Excel sheet, so I can really do a number.
okay.
Yeah, because last year in November, I noticed we had well over $100,000 loss.
Mhm.
Again, part was the second police car, the HVAC units, I believe that was about 30,000. And again, as the auditor was saying, we need to really tighten down our belt and look at what we're doing, what we're spending our money on. You know, and people think I'm frugal. I just look at trying to keep the borough in good shape and to keep the tax rolls down for the residents. Because a lot of them are retired and they don't have the huge funds available to pay for the sewer, to pay for the taxes, everything like that. And my other question I have is, so, no, sir, is he still working for the borough or is he not working for the borough? What is the situation?
I'm sorry.
Is Bill Stewart still working for the borough or not working for the borough?
So it's a personnel matter and we'll discuss it. It is not ready to be discussed.
So if I have a question, I can email Bill Stewart and I should get an answer still.
No,
Can you email now?
concerning the borough,
Yeah, if I have questions, yeah, regarding something in the borough, usually I email Bill Stewart, you would have an answer.
you can
He's on
email
top
me
of his
or
game.
Marty,
Pardon?
me or Marty,
You or Marty?
yes.
All right. And then, if you are replacing the borough manager, are you looking for a full-time, part-time? And if so, have you put a number down on that too, on what it would cost? These are things to look at, you know, by the beginning of July, which is not far away. To then know where we are, because that's an additional expense. Because we spent a lot of money with the police department, the cars, the benefits, the officers, the health insurance. I think the health insurance is $4,000 per person. If you're married with kids, which is very expensive, and that's per month, I believe. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know it's a big number. So these are things that we need to pay attention to and what we're doing to keep the borough solvent instead of running amok.
Thank you. Lisa Lockley.
Lisa Lockley, 114 Harding Avenue in Morton. The first thing I want to say is, I would like to thank the borough for allowing the teens to have their prom. It was a success. Everyone had fun. The second thing I want to say is, I'm not sure what is going on. But he's my friend, and I'm gonna say it, he's my friend. He's helped the teens out whenever I needed help or support. He was there to help the teens. And so, Bill, I would like to say publicly, thank you so much. I don't know what's gonna happen, what's happening, I don't know. The last thing I heard was, you're not around anymore. But I would like to personally say thank you on behalf of the teams, Positive Power, for all you did for them. If it turns the other way. Okay, as far as, as far as the mulch, I was a retired teacher, and technically the park should be shut down. Because unless you put that mulch out there and if somebody gets hurt, you're gonna be liable. It has to have 4 to 12 inches of mulch or rubber or something has to be put down. Right now, they're looking at dirt. So it's, my suggestion is that you hire somebody to put that mulch down. If you have to buy more until you can figure out with a grant or whatever.
I'm not sure if that mulch, you mean from the trees that out?
No, at least put down the mulch that's there, at least put it underneath the
Yes,
swing.
it's
Yeah, of Jacobs.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, because you have to have a certain type of mulch to put down at the playgrounds.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And that usually we purchase that from a place called the Barn, or also sometimes there's a place to get it through from the county.
We're looking for safe material to go under the
No,
children.
I understand that, but until you figure out your safe material.
It's part of the
something
grant,
you
it's
put
part of
down
the
there.
grant. It's part of the grant.
I know, but
But
until
you gotta do it
until
No, I
now.
understand what you're saying.
Until-
In the
Yeah.
meantime,
then you
I
need
agree
to
with
shut
you.
it down.
It should have been organized long time ago. It should not have been just sitting there, left there. And that was before the borough manager, and those months ago, he knew that. And now it's still sitting there, even more now than it was then. You look over here, Jacob Park, Sycamore Park, you look at that load right there.
That they
I
can
don't want
use
to cut
that in
your
the
time
parks.
off though. Was all the
I'm not talking
Yeah,
about, I'm not
I
talking
know
about
what he's
using
saying,
it.
but it
Yeah.
was around the time we were having our fall festival
Yeah.
and we were trying to get it down as fast as we could, but it wasn't enough at the time. But I don't know, but I'm just saying, either rope it off or get it in.
Yeah,
Because
I
somebody's
agree.
gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Because part-timers are doing.
Yeah, part-timers.
Well, they were doing it and then,
They were hired to do it and didn't do it.
well, because they,
Part-timers.
well, there was a reason why
Did you
they
call Mary Ellen?
couldn't.
All right, we're
do it.
gonna, it's Marlo's coming up, he's gonna Madison.
Aaron, 46 South Morton Avenue. First thing on the comprehensive plan, I wasn't aware that we are expecting, I guess we were expecting a final report by July, but we haven't had communication about it since May 10th, so.
No, there is a meeting now. Let me find that information. You can continue. I'll find it. I think there's like July, I think we're supposed to meet. I don't know.
But my point is, before council, is asked to adopt it, the committee, as we put on all this work, should be able to review a draft and make our comments to council. I just want to make sure that's.
Okay.
You will be.
On the money issues, I worked with Mr. Woodworth for a long time, as I said. I know he's straight up, but, we gotta look at both sides of this. I just see, we need to, figure out what, the difference between 22 and 23 and where we're on the trajectory for 24. But also, this council came in spending a lot of unbudgeted money, and I still, point taken about the manager position. That's 6 figures, including benefits, to get the least qualified person as far as full-time manager. The activities are great. The food, I'm sure, was great at the celebration, but it cost a substantial amount of money.
No, the food was donated.
All right.
Weren't there checks written from the borough for the food?
No.
All right. Well, you need to let the rest of them know that, because anybody here would assume it came out of the fund for community development. And then, there were the frankly undeserved raises, some of which I understand if I have the floor, the undeserved raises, and I understand if Mr. Ewald had not stepped in, one of the council members would have been subject to a charge of self-dealing because she would have voted to enrich herself. So, if you want to be credible, you say transparency, but act on it because, you know, we got through a lot of years with a lot of no drama and kept the finances through a lot of economic hardships going without these kind of issues. So I hope you can get it together.
Thank you.
Mr. Minnicott, I think it's your turn. Yep. I see the arrow. And then I think Mr. Saletti after.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of council. Just as a heads up, Mrs. Roberts, county has announced that they're going to be making a change and be transferring 30% more of the trash to a sanitary landfill rather than trash to steam that's starting next year. And they also at the same time signed a contract for a firm to extract the methane gas from that for $500,000 a year. And so they're going to be making changes at the transfer station in Broomall. And another change they said they want to make, just paraphrasing it, the communities have not been doing recycling right, and they're going to have some changes made, and there'll be. So when you get near budget time, if they haven't heard from them, maybe it might mean an increase in fees. I don't know. So I just want to mention about Mr. Stewart. After Mr. Stubbs pushed to get the recreation program going, I think Mr. Stewart really delivered on getting all the programs moving as far as the grants and so forth, and I think he should be given a heads up for that. And I'll tell you, his agenda, I've been doing this a long time. I think it's the best one I've ever seen.
Thank you. Mr. Saletti.
Still Michael Saletti, still 701 Country Lane, Pennsylvania. First thing, Mr. Lee, how dare you, 69 Mets, not 30. Miracle Mets or saying anything about Tom Terrific. Some of us weren't alive. You were. You weren't alive at 69? I'm older than 10 years older than you. 75. I was born in 59. Next thing, I respect your opinion, but there's no way in the world I'm going to pick any other World Series than a World Series that the Phillies won. So one game in 80 or one game in 2008, I don't care. Councilperson Miller,
Yes, sir.
not president.
Gotcha.
You say it's an easy fix with the mailboxes, but you also said that most of the people that live on the street are tenants. That landlord probably isn't even caring about the direction of those mailboxes, nevertheless, either paying someone or coming out personally and switching them around. And on that same topic, I too got the letter where the chief said that the post office is suggesting certain hours where you can't park. And he only said Monday to Friday. What, are they gonna stop delivering mail on Saturday?
You got me. I didn't see the letter till it went out, and I would have written different things in it. I needed to be proofread. In my opinion, I would have, I've put
I don't
much more
think he thought it
information.
through,
But
because they deliver Monday through Saturday. I know there's other people that talked about this next thing, and I don't want to take anything away from everything Mr. Stewart's done as far as grants. But if council had taken the adamant advice that Mr. Semino and I gave about hiring a grant writer, that would have been taken off his plate, and he could have done some of the other things that maybe you're all not so happy with. And the grant writer could get us way more money than Mr. Stewart got. Not that he's not successful, he obviously is. He's gotten what, 3 grants? 3? You can answer. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was 3. And like Mr. Lee said, there's, and Mr. Hunt, there's no money in the budget for a full-time manager this year. There just isn't. But I'll bet you keep Mr. Stewart on and hire a grant writer, and it'll be less than the 150 or 180,000 it's going to cost for a full-time borough manager between salary, benefits, paid days off, health insurance. Guarantee it'll be between 150 and 180 grand. Where is that money coming from? Even if you subtract Mr. Stewart's pay, it's still over 100 grand.
Well, writing these grants, if you don't mind me saying so, is that Mr. Stewart has to work sometimes closely with Mr. Catania also. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. And also when you write grants, whoever's phone keeps going off.
That's our time.
Oh, okay.
It's not mine.
Oh, who? Sorry.
You're being time.
The,
Oh, I know.
the, for grant writers, well, for grant writers, depending on what your arrangement is with writing grants, you get a percentage of what you write, you get paid for it. So,
Right, so that's
so there's
coming
different
up
ways.
front.
Well, but you have to get the grant to get paid.
have to
And
negotiate to
then,
get
just
the deal
because
you
you
want.
just because you hire a grant writer who is going to take care of it after that, who's going to see that all the bells and whistles are done afterward. You have to have somebody manage it.
That would be the borough manager.
Ideally, it would be the borough manager.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there you go. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Borough manager knows what they're doing.
Thank you, actually. And just for the record, I appreciate you guys coming up,
Chris.
for the borough manager. I don't know where the full time's coming from, but we hear you.
You're welcome.
You know, when you're working for city council, it's like, all you keep doing is full-time.
Chris Nelson, 1011 Keaton Avenue, yeah. First of all, again, echoing everybody else saying, Mr. Stewart, thank you so much for helping out the first 2 years of the summer jam. Appreciate you, always being here for me too as well. We're gonna have Morton Summer Jam, as you all know, this year. It's gonna be a nice event. Asking everybody to come out and have a time with us. If you want to be a vendor, it's $50 to be a vendor. Bring your own tent, table, and chairs. Be responsible for that. And we're gonna have like over 20, or actually probably 18, 19 acts performing as well. Most of which is gonna be from Morton, PA itself. And we also are looking to do something special for residents that may transition this year. And one of the things we want to do, start a conversation or start a campaign. Obviously, it's the summertime, but I know I talked to Madam President and other new council members about the summer camp program. Bringing back the summer camp program because we had a successful years over the years, and I was a little boy, and of course before I even thought of. So the last time we had more summer camp program was when I was 2013, when I was a musical director and second in command for that camp. So I want to make sure that we bring that back sometime next year or maybe 2026. I talked to the family of Mr. Lisa Nelson Ruby, and asked her mother and also her grandson personally if we could name the camp after her, which is going to be potentially the DC Nelson Ruby Morton Summer Camp program. I talked to Mrs. Betty Nelson. She said she had my blessing to do it. So I want to work with Borough Council, Mr. Stubbs, whoever's in charge of Parks and Recs, to bring that back, because we had I know growing up here in Morton, we had a successful camp program. So I'm gonna start the campaign, talking about it at the Morton Summer Jam this year, which will be on July 28th, 2024, from 12 to 7, really 12 to 8, because 7:30 we'll start breaking it down, 8 o'clock we're gonna be cleaning up and all kind of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do and what I wanted to say. We have, like I said, come out, have a good time. Any questions? Reach me on 215-531-5208 if you want to be part of the festival. You want to event, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing, I'm sorry. I know time is up. I am going to honor my grandfather on December the 7th. And I'm asking Borough Council if I could have that for free, because he was a Borough Council member here for so many years. So I want to have it here at the Borough Hall for free. I don't have to pay for it because he was, again, president of the borough for so many years. So that's going to be on December the 7th, 2024. It's going to be his it would have been his centennial birthday on December 10th, 2024. So I had to ask Borough Council if I could have, this event for free because he was a Borough Council member for so many years. Especially, Borough.
He served for years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I thought. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.